why we need spatial awareness is for these cheeky letters, B, D, P, and Q. I understand the pressure for families to get your child reading and writing, but we need to get rid of that pressure. That pressure is not needed. I don't believe it's needed before the age of 7. I just don't feel it's needed, because if we have a child who's rushed to learn these, but they're still struggling with focus, they can't regulate their emotions, they have poor spatial awareness, so they're bumping into their friends, they're rough with their friends, we're struggling with creativity. This is not priority. A little one that I saw just the other day could draw a beautiful house. He was drawing the exact same house on every piece of paper that he had. He was able to draw a body, which is great. He was even able to write my and family. He's 4. Someone must have taught him that, because family isn't really a word that he's learnt to spell out. He hasn't learnt the blends of it, especially my. I believe someone has just taught him how to do that. The trickiest part for this little one is if I said, where is the triangle? Is the triangle on top of or below the square? He couldn't tell me. If I said, oh, what's inside your face? Inside my face, I have 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth. We couldn't get it because we'd obviously just copied this drawing, or someone has taught us this drawing, but we don't understand how we've got to that point. We don't understand that we've drawn a face and then we put an expression in it. We don't understand how we made these letters. We've just made them. So when I ask him about making a jigsaw puzzle, a 4 to 6 piece jigsaw puzzle, how do we put all this together? We're lacking that spatial awareness. And so how we build spatial awareness is we can do puzzles. I love doing ball games. So I want you to pick up the red ball and throw the red ball in the red bucket. The red bucket is on top of the table. Now I want you to throw the blue ball into the blue cone. The blue cone is near the door, next to the door. They need to learn these words: next to, in front of, on top of, under. Why? Because a letter B has a stick and then the belly is on the right of the stick. But if I flip that upside down, the stick, yes, it's still on the stick is there and it's still on the right, but now the circle is at the top, where with a B, the circle is at the bottom. But if we're not understanding top, bottom, left, right, or next to, even in kindergarten, I don't expect a kindergarten child to know left and right, but definitely next to. If we're not understanding next to, and that B has it going this way and D has it going that way, when I'm playing a game of hopscotch, I'm going to put my beanbag on this side and then throw the beanbag to that side. Even this and that, we need to learn the actions, that there's 2 different sides to the hopscotch jumping grid. Then that's what we need to try and develop. Where if we rush into B, D, P, and Q, we're just going to be so overwhelmed in the concept. And even if we're looking at our drawings, if our drawings are still really small and in the middle of our page, we know that eventually when we need to start writing, we need to be able to write all the way from one side of the page all the way to the other. So you can see that these fundamental skills that we've spoken about today, crossing the midline, spatial awareness, visual tracking, this is the process that we need to go through. So spatial awareness, it's lots of activities where we're targeting a beanbag in a direction, or where we've got a big piece of paper and we're trying to tap our handprint on the opposite side of our body. And then we might get a sponge, and with the sponge, we're going to make dots, and we're going to try and get them to put dots above and below and next to. Then we might get a paintbrush, and with the paintbrush now we're going to draw different shapes. We're going to draw a circle and a triangle and a cross. Those pre-writing shapes are so important, because if we skip past them, and this little person, when I ask them not to draw, we don't need to draw your family. What about we draw a car? What about we draw the sun? What about we draw a scribble? We were so sort of pressured and felt pressured to produce that same piece of work, a house, a body, and my family. we felt pressured for that to be what the next picture would be, then we know that when we go to school, we may have trouble with flexibility around that. So it's really important when we're looking at the children's paintings, you know, are they scribbly and in the middle? Are they progressing into from the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks? Have they progressed beyond that? Are they the same picture each time? And most importantly, you want to use those beautiful outdoor spaces that you have to get children crawling. My favorite thing to do is cut out 6 shapes. And this, if you need it, I already have it in my gross motor handout. Just reach out. In my gross motor free handout, it has shapes, and we just cut out the shapes and we hide the shapes around the yard. We all collect the 6 to 8 shapes around the yard, and we bring them back and we hide them again. We can advance that though, because the next time we go out and we hide them all again, the next time we go out, we're going to crawl to find the shapes, or we're going to hop to find the shapes, or we're going to sidestep to find the shapes. When we are doing a scavenger hunt, we're using all of our gross motor skills. We're using visual tracking because we're looking around the space of where did these shapes go. We're using core strengths because if we're hopping, jumping, crawling to the shapes, we're going to build up our core strength. We're using crossing the midline because ideally when we're looking across the yard, we have to get our body to look across this way and then across that way. And most importantly, we're using our working memory. What shapes were missing? What shapes did we still need to find? What shapes, and working as a team, what shape did you find? Oh, if you found the circle, then I think the square's still around. These are the skills that gross motor activities provide that I believe really need to come before our school readiness activities that I know some families are feeling really nervous about.